What a wonderful.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to Real. I am fresh out of bed this morning, no makeup, but fresh locks, and not the Jewish kind, like fresh hair. I just got my extensions yesterday. I go to Rapunzel salon, and they literally kill it. Like, if you're on the video version, or if you're not on the video version, honestly, and you are somewhere that you're able to, hop onto the video version because the hair is herring. Like, it's insane. And they're the nicest people too. I'm so happy with it. I thought I was going to get my extensions out and like maybe just take them out this time because like for winter, sometimes I'm like, okay, let's do a little darker. Like summer, I feel like it's like long, like mermaid, like light hair. Maybe that's backwards. But for winter, I'm like, maybe we go a little bit darker, not as harsh. And we like took the root and we kind of dragged the root down a little bit because I'm very dirty blonde at my root and I wanted to keep my natural color. So yeah, that was the plan, but I'm just so happy with it, how it turned out. And also a little housekeeping thing. I have a giveaway going on right now where Rapunzel, the salon I go to, literally said, here's $1,000, do what you will. And so I said, okay, we're going to give the winner, we're going to do two winners and give each $500 credit so that they can either go to the salon and put it towards getting extensions, put it towards a blowout. You could literally get your whole hair, you get a blowout and highlights, like everything probably for $500, I think. So that's like insane. I'm pretty sure that's usually like around the price. So definitely go enter in the giveaway. It's on TikTok. I'm going to post it on Reels also. But mainly it's on TikTok, so you can see everything else that you get with it. But I'm doing a donation to a charity of your choice between a list of places that I've like hand selected that are my favorites, but then you get to pick. And I'll be making a $150 donation to the charity. And then also you get a giant box of goodies. And like I'm looking at it right now, it's literally a giant bin of just everything. Hair, skincare, all of the things. So definitely enter before it's too late. Today's episode is all things breakups. I wasn't sure like what I was exactly going to talk about today because I've been having my own kind of situations with friendship breakups, but then we also have so many people I feel like going through relationship breakups, like breakups. So I'm going to touch a little bit on a friendship breakup situation in the beginning and how I've navigated through that. And then we're going to go into what the main topic is today, which is if you're going through a breakup, like this episode is for you. I have, at like just being 27, like not only have I experienced going through situationship breakups, relationship breakups, but then I've also seen all of my friends go through it. And with that, you learn a lot about the outcomes. And I think a lot of the times when you're first going through the breakup, there's a huge level of denial. And if you are trying to like still maybe hold on to a little bit of hope, which there always is a little bit of hope, I will say, not every situation is the same, but don't use this episode as something to like I'm going to give you the harsh reality. I'm going to give you the harsh truth, but I'm also going to make you feel better. Because at the end of the day, like, this is going to make you better. And this is what happens. Unfortunately, we have to go through shit things to become better people and to build character. Some of the funniest people are the most traumatized. And what does that say? It says that sometimes trauma builds really good personality and a lot of success. Some extremely successful businesses or ideas or songs, music have come out of really awful heartbreak or grief or just awful things. So just remember that. Like, I know it's hard and I'm not trying to like put on all this toxic positivity right now, literally reference to last episode. If you haven't listened to it, we talked all about toxic positivity. I'm not trying to throw the toxic positivity at you, but we're going to go through the healing process. And then I'm going to talk to you at the end about some of the perks that really do come with going through something like this. And the main thing being when really shitty things happen to you, really beautiful things happen after. And it's just facts. I can't explain it, but it's what happens. First things first, I want to talk quickly about friendship breakups and how they can be similar and how they can not be similar. So I think friendship breakups are to like an actual breakup. I think friendship breakups, the main thing that I've found to be harder is a lot of the time I've experienced friendship breakups where I'm actually not cutting them off cold turkey. There's a level of, yeah, I'm not as close with this person anymore, but I still have to like follow them and see them. Like, I feel like a lot of the time in my life with friendship breakups, there's never been like blocking or like us being like, we hate each other now. It's usually just like, this isn't working out. And so we should like take a step back or just like slowly backing away. So I think that is even harder than like a cold turkey breakup because you're seeing the person. It's really hard going through those beginning stages of a friendship breakup and seeing the person on social media and feeling like you kind of hate them and feeling like you almost are preying on their downfall a little bit. And I think that like, I know a lot of us maybe are afraid to admit this, but I think it's a very normal feeling that it's a human emotion that we have. When you're hurt by something, it's really hard to watch a person thriving. You know, it's you always want to see them fail, I think. And maybe that's just true for me, but I have a weird feeling that it's true for a lot of people too. So the hard thing is being on social media in this day and age and going through friendship breakups or being in a similar circle of friends where you have to see that person and be cordial with them, give them a hug, make small talk, but you're not really you both feel awkward and you feel like you don't want to be doing this and it's kind of forced and it's just a weird amount of negativity in your life. So if you are going through something like that, like it's normal to feel like a lot of different types of ways because going through friendship breakups, I've gone through phases of like anger and then like I miss them and then like feeling extremely resentful of them and like I wasted this time in my life or how could you do this to me? So I think it's important to remember like we have different emotions on different days and that's like a very normal thing. Another thing that is really hard is again like having that interaction with that person where when a breakup is cold turkey, you literally are not seeing the person. And with me as of recent, like, and just in the last like several years of my life, I've gone through these friendship breakups where it's really hard to navigate because you are seeing the person. What I would say is I think it's always better to, yes, when you need to like avoid a situation because it's triggering for you in the beginning, that's totally normal. But the more I think you expose yourself to that person, if you are in similar friend groups, you learn how to navigate through those tough conversations or being around each other. Like you get a groove and you learn how to just be around each other without wanting to kill each other. And there's always going to be those times because you obviously stop being friends for a reason that you feel frustrated with them or you feel like, oh, like this person's pissing me off. But I think it's always better to be able to take the high road as long as it's not like actually emotionally damaging for you. Which is why I say like take some time, like take a few months if you need to and back off as much as you can and stay away and then release yourself back into the wild when you feel like you're at a more stable place and you're at a less resentful place with that person. That's when you can start to rebuild. And yeah, maybe you won't be best friends with the person ever again, but at least when you back off, it takes some of the tension away. You work through all your issues, and then you can come back with a clear mind, less resentment, less anger, and less just emotion at stake, and be able to have a normal conversation and just like feel a little bit better about things. And also, what I would say is if you're going into situations where you're around someone that you do not like or you aren't friends with anymore, have a safety person with you. I mean, the best thing you can do if you have like a best friend from a different walk of life, someone that like truly understands your side. I know that like in a lot of situations with friend groups, when there's like individual friend breakups, the worst thing you can do is put a person that's friends with both of you in between the situation and like talk about the other person. So the best thing you can do is back off that and find another friend, close friend that you can confide in and that really is like on your side and bring them to the function, like bring them to dinners or confide in them about things. Like you need a neutral outside person. Yeah, it's really important to just have that neutral person that is like on your side and you can vent to, and also you can show up somewhere and they can like give you that extra vote of confidence, because it is a confidence killer, honestly, when you do go through a friendship breakup, or any type of breakup. So have that person there, that safety person, and it will definitely help you get through it. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the pod today, which is going through a breakup. And I've talked about this before, but I think I posted a Instagram story and I was like, what do you want me to talk about? Like, what are you struggling with? And like, please tell me why every single one of my followers is going through a breakup right now. Please tell me why. I'm so confused. What is in the air? What is in the air? Like, if you're going through a breakup, you're not alone. You should see my DMs right now. It's insane. And I also want to say I mainly will be talking about like straight relationships in this and referring to it as like guys, but this really can apply to any type of relationship. I just want to preface it by saying if you hear me say that, it's because that's what has happened in my experience. So I can only speak to my experience. The first thing I want to say is if you are a woman in your 20s and you're dating men in their 20s, I feel for you. I feel for you because the majority of men in their 20s do not have it figured out yet. And that's just facts. Like, if you're younger, obviously that applies to you as well. But I really think like men in their 20s, you have an expectation when you get out of college or when like you get older that they are going to mature, because as women, we mature. Like we get out of college, we are thinking about future. We've always been thinking about future, honestly. Women are future thinkers. And I think what's really, really difficult is that with guys in their 20s, we expect them to be like that and then are so shook when they literally can't even text you back. We're like, are you fucking serious? Like, how is it that you're literally incapable of the basic human interaction? And it's because I think a lot of these guys, and I'm not trying to give an umbrella statement, but it's just what I've seen a lot. I feel like a lot of these guys are going through their own personal issues. And I think also women, we deal with our mental health better. We speak about things better because it's less like of a taboo subject for us. Men in their 20s, a lot of the time, they are grappling with a lot of mental issues that they have not dealt with. And it's their time to finally address things, go through it, and deal with it. I've seen this with most men I know. And it's true for women too, but I think here's the main difference. Men, it's harder for them to get into relationships than women when they're going through a mental problem. Like I find that a lot of guys I've dated, or that my friends have dated, they'll be like, I'm going through this, so I'm not ready for a relationship, or like I like need to figure myself out or fix myself. Where with women, like I feel like we have parts of that, but we also, if we find someone that's right for us, like we're gonna work on ourselves and be in the relationship, because just like we can do both. But I just want to like preface it by saying that, because it's never you. It's nothing that you did. A lot of these guys in their 20s just like need to work on themselves and simply cannot put their all into a relationship. And even though they were trying to, they clearly couldn't. They couldn't, because they're now telling you that they can't and they're not capable of it. So that takes a lot of resentment, because you feel a lot of resentment after going through that, because you're looking at this guy and you're like, you're throwing all of this away, even though you're saying that you love me or that you like me. You're saying you want to date me and I'm perfect for you, and you're telling me all these right things, but then you're saying, but I can't commit right now. I can't commit. And you're like, so I don't get it. This is a them problem. You do not want to be with someone that is not a whole person when they're with you. Like, you don't want to be with someone that is giving some effort, and the rest of the effort that you're thinking about is really just built up in your head. Like, so many situations. I have multiple friends right now going through breakups where this person to them was like perfect in quotes, but they really weren't. They really had so many other issues that they were willing to overlook because they felt that men are hard to come by. And especially being in New York, I think like relationships and men and like what you want to find in a person, like what you look for and your ideal person, that's hard to come by. So when you find it, you hold on to it and you hope to God that it will work out. But then as all these things start unraveling, all these red flags start unraveling, you're like, fine, I'm going to look past it just this once because they said this to make me feel better about it. Or, but I met their family, so they must really like me. If they are showing any sign of a red flag or something that makes you doubt their feelings for you, or makes you feel like you have made an insecure attachment to them, that's where you have to say, maybe I should start questioning this person. And if we're actually meant to be together, or if it's something that I'm really fighting to make work because in my head, I built up this idea of this person that I thought was going to work. And I think a lot of the time, that's what we do because we're like, this person has everything. They're cute. They're smart. They come from a good family. They're cute. They're smart. They're maybe driven. But like, if there is that one thing that's missing, like if they're all the things, but they aren't willing to like text you during the week, or they aren't willing to commit to you, and after months they're like, I still don't know if I'm ready, but I know that I really like you, but I don't know if I'm ready. Well, maybe they don't even know it, because a lot of the time I think guys don't even know how to read their own emotions, but I can read that emotion from 100 miles away. And that emotion tells me that they don't know it yet, but something in them is telling them that they're not ready for this relationship and that something isn't right. And with women, we often know when something isn't right. We just don't want to actually admit it to ourselves and admit it to others. And so I think that's the hardest part. It's like that first time of admission, that first time of saying, oh my God, I actually think like this might not work. And denial is a huge thing. I've seen it again a lot of times. Friends just in denial about a situation because they want it to work so bad and they're convincing themselves it's going to work. They can't even admit to themselves that it might not work out. But the first thing that I need you to do, if you're sitting here and you're thinking of a specific scenario in your head right now of something that you're going through, maybe think about it to yourself, like question yourself for a second. And I think it's important in relationships, when you're getting into a relationship, to constantly question yourself. Even in my current relationship, we constantly are asking each other questions and questioning ourselves and saying, is this still something I want? Is this person everything I'm looking for? And if the answer is an easy yes, and you're saying, yes, it actually is, great, amazing. But at least you did that check-in so that you can admit to yourself and know if something is right or wrong. So I think a lot when a person's in a relationship and they're not sure about it, they're actually not asking themselves those questions because they're just too busy convincing the other person to fall in love with them or to like them or to date them. You should never have to convince someone of that, ever. They should want to be there. They should be there and be doing it. So as soon as you feel yourself in a relationship or a situation, like having to wait around for someone, wait for them to text you, tell them what to do. Tell them, like, you should never have to tell a person how to treat you. They should know. And if they're not treating you right, then you guys don't align. Or if you guys don't have the same communication styles, you don't align. If you don't think the same, kind of in a similar way, where it's causing disagreements, again, you don't align. If you can't work through agreements pretty quickly and easily, and like there's times where you need to like take all this time to think and separate, especially in the first couple months of a relationship, huge red flag. I know what people say, and there are exceptions to this, but the first few months of a relationship should be smooth sailing. I'm just going to say it. The first couple months, like, there can be a fight or two because that is normal. It is normal to have disagreements or fights and like talk through it and work through it. But if it's just a constant battle or a constant issue and you're really early in where you're like fighting like crazy, terrible red flag. Run. You have the least problems now that you're ever going to have. So think about one day if you are planning a wedding, if you're having kids, if you're meeting each other's parents, like if someone is going through something medically or whatever, problems only grow from the beginning of a relationship. That's the least problems you're ever going to have. So you need to know that you can seriously handle being with this person, and like you can fight for each other and choose to be with each other through everything. The other thing I want to say when it comes to this is it doesn't matter what issue you're having. Like, I don't want you to sit there and try to make an excuse for the problem. I want you to look at the problem as it is and say, could I continue if this continued? Like, don't think of it in the way that, like, it'll resolve. I know it will. We'll figure it out. Take the relationship as it is literally today. Another thing when it comes to situationships and breakups is this fear of asking, this fear of trying to get answers because you don't want to lose the person. I see this all the time. If you feel like you are going to lose a person because you're asking them what we are, then they weren't a person worth having. Like, if you think that if a person runs away because of you asking them a simple question, that person was not worth it. And I need you to know that. Because any person that is for you, you could do anything and they will stay. And I promise you that, because I was a freak in my relationship in the beginning, like seriously. And that person should just match you with the same energy. And so it's normal to feel afraid or hesitant. That's one thing. But to feel a constant level of that throughout the relationship or throughout the situation, that's when you know that, like, maybe I feel an anxious attachment or something, because, like, that gives, like, they're not committing after a long time. And you are afraid to say something because things are going seemingly well, but you're feeling insecure about it. Does this make sense? So I think, like, if you have a fear of saying something and it's been a long period of time, you might need to rip the Band-Aid off. You might need to literally just ask, because the faster you ask, the faster you get an answer and move on and find your better person, or then you're in a relationship and you're happy. But I think the worst thing you can do is, like, sit in it and let it fester. And then you feel more and more and more insecure while this other person is on fucking cloud God knows what. Because let's face it, these guys are always on cloud whatever. I see, like, I know this is an entire episode of me being like, I've seen this so much, but I swear, like, I have friends in the same exact situations right now where these guys are fucking idiots. And so I have a lot of anger because, you know, I ride for my friends, obviously. But I've seen it, and I just, like, have seen the situations and how ride or die women can be for these guys. And, like, as women, I think we often are, like, caretakers. Like, we really, like, take on that role of, like, wanting to be there for someone, wanting to, like, even though we just met them, we feel something so special for them after a few months. Like, we literally are like, this is, like, the person I'm going to spend my life with. So obviously I'm going to, like, do anything for them and, like, help them through it, and then we'll be great. But at the same time, are they giving you that energy? And would they give you that energy if you completely pulled, if you were giving them the same exact energy back, and I mean same exact, how would the relationship be? Would they be pulling the rest of the weight for you? If the answer is no, again, that's another situation where it's like, this might not be the person for you. And this is the part where people are going to be mad or people are going to be disappointed. When you finally have to exit the relationship, when you finally have to take that step to, like, back off, whether it was by force, like they broke up with you, or whether it was, like, kind of mutual, but, like, you literally had no choice because they wouldn't commit, I need you to know that you trying to hold out hope for a later date of you guys getting back together is not helping. You will not heal with a constant intention of getting back together with that person in a few years. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But you, like, thinking about it constantly and holding out for them and, like, not dating, or, like, dating but, like, knowing that it's going nowhere because you're like, oh, well, this person's gonna heal in, like, a few months and then come back. You can't, because you'll never move on and actually properly heal if you still have them in the back of your mind. And you can say to your friends and you can say to yourself, oh, but, like, I'm gonna try to move on, and if something happens, it happens. No, you need to, like, actually have the intention that, like, this is shut down and this is shut down. And then, seriously, like, one day, if, like, a surprise happens, great. But you really can't live with the intent of, like, having a meet cute with that person in a few years from now and, like, getting back together. Or like in a few months from now, them texting you and being like, I want you back. Because most of the time, guys in the first couple months or month or whatever, they will linger or kind of like want to have their cake and eat it too, but still don't want it to get into the relationship. And that's just harming you. So when I tell you, cut this person off cold turkey, if it's over, it's over. And there should be no intention of going back, I fucking mean it. And I'm here to like remind you when you slip up, like you can slide into my fucking DMs. But we really have to stop gaslighting ourselves into believing that it's like going to happen in a few months. And we need to stop like take your hand, like your foot literally off the pedal completely. And like that needs to go away. It doesn't mean you need to start dating right away again. It doesn't mean you need to now think of like you have to heal that part of yourself that thought your future was with that person. So that's a huge step. Healing that part of yourself and saying, okay, who actually am I now? Let me find myself again. And let me actually come to terms with who this person really was, because that's going to take a little while too. Realizing who this person actually is. You built up a person, but now let's peel back the layers that you put on them and actually discover who they really were. Most of the time you realize they were kind of a shit person, or like they weren't all that. And you made them all that because you're amazing and you see the best in people. So you made them to be this like great person. And you know why they were even better when they were around you? Because you probably made them better. Unfortunately, they're not ready for someone like you. They're not ready for that maturity, for that growth, for to be taken care of like that. Like they're not capable of that when the shoe's on the other foot. Like when it comes to them taking care of you, they can't do that. That's the problem. So I like need everyone to like know who's going through that. Like you have done nothing wrong and you need to stop questioning yourself. And if you could have done something differently, because you couldn't have. You did all that you could do with the situation you were given. You fought for the person. You tried to help the person. You literally did everything you could do. So now you need to let the person go, discover, oh, they actually were kind of shit. I actually like made them better in my brain when I would go to bed at night and picture our future together. I made up that person. That person was literally made up. Crazy. And then slowly you get back to you. Dive into being with your single friends. Dive into going out. Dive into your work or a hobby. Like whatever you need to do to feel like you in that moment and to also distract a little bit. And also, part of peeling back those layers, like I said before about that person, like peeling it back and being like, oh, wait, he actually wasn't all these things that I like made him to be. Part of that is also you sitting down and healing yourself from the hurt of the relationship and from how tired you probably are from all that you put in. Because a lot of the time it is exhausting when you're trying to fight for something to work that's not working. So take those weeks or that month or those months, because there's no timeline on healing, to sit with yourself and cry and be upset and genuinely heal. People often like skip that step. Don't skip that step. That step is the most important step. If you skip that step, you will never properly heal. It will always come back to you in some way, or you'll repeat the same pattern again. So I need you, whether it's with a friend, with a therapist, by yourself. I mean, definitely I'm, huge therapy advocate, but you need to like let out your emotions. Cry, go to a fucking rage room, feel depressed if you need to. I've been there, done that with like the self-medicating thing too. Occasionally, when I need to go out and be with my girls and have a glass of wine and try to calm myself down, or maybe that brings up some emotions, it's okay. I'm not saying become insane after it, but like it's okay to sometimes don't feel guilty for using things as a crutch sometimes because it's really hard to process our emotions just alone. It's really hard to do. Most people don't even talk about how hard that is. So most of us do use something as a crutch. I just want to make sure it's a healthy crutch. So keep that in mind. And lastly, I want you to know that this feeling you have is not forever. This feeling of this person tearing you down and making you feel less than and making you feel like you weren't worthy, that does not last forever. You heal. You surround yourself with good people. You get back out there and date, even if it's just for fun, just for enjoyment. I know it sucks at first, but eventually you get in a groove and you have fun with it. And eventually you start to put the pieces back together and you start to truly heal. And also block that motherfucker. Because let's face it, you do not need to see his face on social media or anywhere for that matter. And also, if you see him or his friends out, it's not a sign. It's a coincidence. Let me just say that. It's not a coincidence. It's not a sign. It's a pure coincidence. So, like, when you live in a city and you're a certain age, like, you run into people. So don't panic. And also, use that first phase of your grief and your sadness to release any anger that you have too towards that person. Because when you release it then and there, and also I think it's okay to always hold on to a little bit of that anger because that'll keep you from going back. I still have anger towards people that I dated in the past and I have a full-blown boyfriend. But that anger is what it's your standard and it's your moral compass. Being like, you don't get to treat me like that. So that's important. It's okay to be a little angry. Let out a lot of the anger in the beginning, but then it's okay to hold on to some of it because you have fucking standards. And moving forward, look at that relationship that you got out of and just take notes. Make a list of the things that you need in a person and do not settle for less because you don't have to. I know it feels like there's nobody out there, but you only need one. You only need one perfect person. And no one's perfect, but they'll be perfect for you. So keep that in mind. I love you guys. If you are going through it right now, I'm here with you. Again, like literally slide into my DMs and we can chat and I will help you get through it. I'll send you fucking voice memos, okay? But we will not go back to those motherfuckers. And that's period. I'm going to do a second episode on this next week. I think if you guys have more questions or want more tips on healing and actually the nitty gritty, but this was all for today. I love you guys so much. Be sure if you haven't already to enter in the giveaway. Please, if you haven't already, give this a 5-star rating and review. Like you don't understand how much it helps and means to me when you do that. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow the Instagram at Real with CW and the TikTok at Real with Carly Weinstein. And I love you and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
What a wonderful